Hi, and welcome to Comedy Recapped. Today we will be talking about the 1998 sci-fi action film Six String Samurai. The movie is set many years after World War III ended and the United States fell to the Soviet Union's nuclear bombs. It follows a man thinking he's a dangerous Buddy Holly, traveling to the far-off city of Las Vegas, seeking music success. Along the way, he has to watch over a young orphan sidekick and keep an eye out for danger. Beware. Spoilers ahead. We open on a boy with his mother trying to escape violent bandits. The boy evades their grasp at first, but his mother dies. A lone guitarist and swordsman, dressed as Buddy Holly, comes into the picture, killing the bandits and effectively saving the boy. The kid, who doesn't speak, quickly tries to follow Buddy, but he tells him not to follow. Despite the order not to, the 7-year-old boy follows anyway, at just a far enough distance that he can't lose sight of him in the tall grass. The two of them eventually make it to a dry valley, and Buddy addresses him, drawing a line in the dirt and telling him not to cross it, for the threat of a spinach monster who will come after him and his teddy bear if he does. The mute boy gives the line some pause, but decides to instead scrub the line out and follow anyway, not having crossed it. He also leaves the teddy bear behind. As the two traverse through a desert wasteland, a heavy metal musician playing Death follows with his band of lackeys. There's an encampment along with other gangs and musicians, and one playing, dressed in red and white with a hammer and sickle painted on their instruments. The music stops when they arrive, along with a gang of bounty-hunting bowlers. The Soviet band deliberates whether to kill Buddy now, but decides to wait, continuing their gig. Buddy sits with a man while drinking and eating, and says the Soviet band is king material going to Vegas. The man says he's not going anywhere, especially not to Vegas. The gang of bowlers says there's a bounty on his guitar, calling him a washed-up rocker. He takes offense and decides to take them on. The bowlers take maces out of their bags, and Buddy quickly fights them off even without his guitar, armed with his martial arts fighting skills. The fight goes on, and the bowlers take out their pins with hidden knives. He disarms them, but one of the knives goes into a nearby gas pump, spraying gasoline all over the ground. Another traveler comes in after the fight in a car, and the kid sneakily approaches it when no one is looking. A grungy boy attempts to tag Buddy with a ball, but Buddy knocks it off, hitting a nearby gang of caveman-like thugs in a car as they drive by. The traveler from before sees the kid attempting to make it off with his car and comes running after it, but Buddy and the kid decide to make it out on their own. The traveler's gun sets off the gasoline, igniting it into a massive flame. The fire takes him out as it explodes, along with much of the encampment. The grungy boy is then shot in the back with an arrow by Death's band. Death approaches the encampment, approaching the Soviet band that was supposed to have killed Buddy. Death chastises them for failing before killing them himself and stealing their stylish shoes. A radio jockey announces that Death is coming for them. The caveman group is tailing the kid and Buddy with their heavily armored vehicle in Mad Max-style combat. They're launching gumballs and records into the car, while running our protagonists off the road and trying to attack them physically by throwing themselves at the car. The kid and Buddy manage to keep driving, fighting them off, and Buddy is impressed. The cavemen eventually break down and go running after Buddy and the kid, one of whom catches up and is dragged behind the car. The two make it a bit further down in the car full of gumballs before it breaks down. Buddy decides to try and go on foot, but the kid is determined and tries to fix the car. Buddy has gotten a decent distance away, not willing to leave the boy behind, and walks back just in time to catch a band of thugs coming after him. Buddy makes it to the car in time to grab the boy and toss him in the trunk, fighting off the thugs with his sword. The two of them make it to a house with a suburban family, and the car finally seems to not be able to move further. He asks the family for a wrench, but they're manic and don't know what's happening. Buddy decides to leave the kid with this family despite their odd behavior and appearance, deciding it's better off and not realizing they've stumbled across cannibals. He tries to convince the kid he's better off, but the kid doesn't buy it. As soon as Buddy leaves on foot, the family puts him in a pot to eat. They're stewing him up, but are interrupted as a group of windmill people invade the home, along with a dust storm. They flee with the abandoned car and the socket wrench they needed to fix it. Buddy sleeps a few miles off, only for the family to wake him while escaping. The kid encounters these strange, spacesuit-clad windmill people, who all try to grab him, but Buddy returns to fight them off and save the boy. He tells the kid they're not together, despite what it seems, and takes down the whole band of dangerous suited thugs. The two of them continue their journey on foot before going through a junkyard and finding an abandoned motorcycle. At first it doesn't work, but Buddy scavenges the parts and eventually gets it running. Meanwhile, Death has been killing off all the other musicians he comes across and takes guitar picks from each of his victims as trophies. After a spell on the motorcycle, the young boy is left crying, scraped up in the sand. Buddy is, at first, more focused on getting the bike up and running again, but as time passes and the boy keeps crying, he gives up on the bike and goes to console the kid gruffly. After much frustration, he's left jumping around, which earns laughter from the boy. He quickly resorts to physical humor, doing backflips to make him stop crying. Eventually, he simply picks the kid up, and the two of them start back on their way with the broken bike. Buddy and the kid later arrive in the shanty town of Fallout, encountering new bands of thugs and gangs. Buddy leaves the kid with a local gang leader and leaves to go to a bar for a drink and spend some time with a cheerleader. Death comes as well, but the kid tries to find and warn Buddy in time for them to flee. Buddy is approached by a young guitarist who confidently tries to harass him about his skills. Buddy instead humiliates him, causing the women around him to leave. Continuing their travels, the guitarist seeks them out and attacks Buddy. Unintentionally, Buddy kills him in self-defense. Feeling guilty, Buddy sets down his sword and walks away. However, the kid brings it back to him, still believing in Buddy and helping the man regain his confidence. This brings the unlikely duo closer together. The kid later collapses in the desert due to heat, and Buddy rushes back to help him. They're soon ambushed by Death, his bandmates, and their arrows. Buddy slides the kid and his guitar off to safety while he battles it out with the archers. However, the kid falls victim to an underground group of mutants, thinking it's the spinach monster that Buddy threatened him with. Buddy eventually gets away from the dangerous metal band to save the kid underground. He has to find a way down, as the pipes the kid fell down are not big enough for him. The kid successfully escapes the dangerous underground encounter with the mutants, with arrows in his back from the encampment earlier. Death decides to not follow the two down, as there are other musicians he can kill in the meantime, and save Buddy for last. Buddy and the kid manage to get back to the surface, finding that their road to Las Vegas is blocked by the remnants of the Soviet Red Army. They have long since run out of bullets, so they engage in hand-to-hand combat with Buddy. While Buddy and the kid make it out alive, Buddy is injured, and the kid is forced to drag him along with the guitar so they can continue their journey. Death eventually catches up to them again and engages Buddy in a one-on-one guitar duel, clashing their different styles of music against each other. Buddy proves a better guitarist with his rock and roll against Death's heavy metal, which angers Death. He then orders his bandmates to shoot the two of them with their bows. Buddy uses his body to shield the kid from danger, getting shot in the back. However, he rises back up and engages in a sword fight. This results in a mortal wound, but the kid spits on Death and discovers that his weakness is actually water. So the kid melts Death by spraying him with his water canteen. In the shock of Death's defeat, his bandmates are left without someone to follow. So they give the kid a card and tell him, in admiration, that he can call on them if he ever needs their help before taking their leave. The kid is now alone after Buddy dies. He bravely decides to finish Buddy's journey to Las Vegas. He puts on Buddy's left-behind clothes and glasses, carrying his sword and guitar. With Las Vegas now in sight, the kid has completed Buddy's dream, and the film shows him turning into Buddy, symbolizing that he's inherited his spirit, as a crowd cheers his arrival from the city. And that's going to wrap things up for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this recap as much as we did. If you liked the video and want to look into other movies with us, then be sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. That way, you won't miss a single video.